Okay, hi everybody, this is A7X Van Ben, and today we're going to see if the ships from Pirates CSG actually float. So I will give a full disclosure. There's a picture on Board Game Geek that tests different ships from different naval and nautical games, and this game was one of the ones that was tested and it did not float, but there was only one ship type used as far as I know in that picture. So I'm going to test a bunch of different ships types here that you can see. So I have the water here, so I'm just going to start with the first ship right here, HMS Shetland, and we'll see if any of the ships float or not. Oh wow, that's actually a little better than I thought I was going to do. So the Shetland stayed up for, I don't know, like a second or so. I'm going to try to place them in carefully and try to place them flat, but we'll see if any of them float or not. So that one lasted like a tiny bit of time, but it doesn't float really at all. And then the next one is a three-masted ship. I think the one in the picture was something similar to this. So yeah, it kind of goes on the side and then it sinks after that. So that's 0 for 2 so far. Let's try a three-masted junk here. Maybe this will stand a better chance. Okay. So it doesn't sit upright, but it does float a bit. So it's like half capsized there. But okay, so sometimes it'll sink if you just place it straight down in. So so a junk might be able to lie on the side and float, but it doesn't really float the way we want it to. And then I have some of the more weird ship types too. So I'm going to try a few of those. I don't have all the ship types with me like right for this video, but most of them are going to sink. So this is a double catamaran. I'm most interested in ones like these that have some kind of support or that have like a flat part on them. This one's not really floating either. So next, I'll do one-masted sloop here. This one is really light, so maybe this one will stand a better chance. Okay, yeah, so this one floats a bit. Yeah, kind of like a real ship. They kind of, it seems like they almost get soggy or they fill with water. Like once the water goes over the decks from the weight of the mast, they start to sink. But kind of like the five-master, this one actually did last a little bit of time, a little bit longer than the other ones. And it seems like when I retest them, they're sinking faster after the first attempt, so it's good that they're dry to start. Okay, so this one is one of the ones I'm most interested in. So a galley, because it has the oars on both sides. So with that flat support, let's see if it does any better here. Nope, not really. It's similar to the other ones so far. Yeah, it kind of just goes to the side. I'll try to put it on the other side a little bit, but yeah, it just topples to one side either way. I could try it upside down, but I don't think it's probably not going to work better. Yeah, not really. Yeah, it kind of sinks eventually. Most of them can kind of stay there, kind of hovering for a few seconds, but okay, so now I have a two-masted galley, so let's try that one. That's probably not going to work better. Yeah, that didn't really work better. I didn't even think of this, I could drop them. I don't think that would help, but yeah, so this one doesn't really work either. So yeah, it doesn't look like any of them are going to float because the galleys was probably the best chance, it seems like, and they don't really float very well. They sink pretty slow because the ships are lightweight, so they take some time to sink. But okay, so I haven't gotten any float yet. Got a few options left. First, the one-masted longship here, so this is similar to the galley, but that one doesn't really do any better, so that's too bad. But and yeah, like I said, I could try it upside down, but I don't think it's going to work better. Okay, well this one works, at least for now. I think the water is kind of overcoming the hull a little bit, but yeah, it kind of sinks eventually if it moves around much. So okay, so a longship placed upside down can kind of float better than any of the other options so far. So that's good to know at least. But yeah, if you put it straight up, it's kind of like the weight of the mast and the movement of the water kind of tips it to one side no matter what. So then it'll eventually just topple over and sink after that. Okay, so the last few here, I have a flotilla, which is mostly flat, but it's also kind of heavy in the center. Oh, it works so far. Nice. I think it works because the flag is so centered in the middle. So flotilla, it looks like it works. So we have a success finally. So that's ironic. None of the ships float, but the flotilla floats. So that's amazing. Now it's got some water on there, so it's probably not gonna it's probably not going to float anymore, but still, yeah, it kind of sinks. Because once water gets into the crevices and whatnot, it's not likely to float after that. But it can kind of stay up though a little bit. I can try this one upside down too. Yeah, it kind of works actually. So the flotilla is like the best one so far. So the ships don't float, but this one, the little gun platform, is doing pretty well here. Okay, so the flotilla floats for the most part, but it helps to have it dry when you start, or to do it upside down, which works better too. And then I have two more. One of them is a sea monster. So this is a giant squid. It has a nice flat base that's pretty wide, and it's pretty lightweight, so I'm thinking this one might stand a decent chance, but okay, it kind of floated a little bit, kind of similar to the Galleys. It can kind of stay up on the supports, but then it gets kind of weighed down by the tentacles, and then water starts to come over the top of it. But of course this is a sea monster, so it would be submerged anyway, so we can see it actually submerged here, which is cool. Try this one upside down too, but it's probably not, yeah, it's not going to do better really. Well, it can, sort of, but yeah, as soon as water comes over the base of these, that's pretty much the end for them, for the most part, so. And then, last but not least, I have a fort, which I think is interesting, because this one has a flat base. So I'm thinking this one stands a decent chance. The problem is I don't have the base like glued, the fort actually glued to the base. So water is probably going to seep into the cracks and then sink it from there, but we'll see what happens. I do it like really carefully, because I think this is one of the ones I'm most interested in. Okay, yep, just like the flotilla, it works pretty well, because that's a base. We're just going to see if like putting something else in will disturb it enough to like sink it. I could put the other stuff in there. I could try to put the flotilla in there too. It's probably not dry yet, but okay, oh, that's cool. The flotilla can kind of sit, I don't know if you can tell, but the flotilla can sit at the top level. So it's like partially submerged. So like the guns are submerged, but then the top is not. Okay, so there goes the fort. So the fort just sank, finally. It stayed up for a while though. So if you had like a piece of foam or something like that under the fort, or under, you could make like bases for these and then have them float from there, which maybe you could try sometime. Okay, so Ramsgate, so it's sinking very slowly. Wow. So that's actually pretty cool. So the fort works pretty well, just as well as the flotilla pretty much. But eventually the water just kind of overcomes the weight of it. So that's pretty interesting though. So none of the ships really float well, but then the more flat bottom ones that actually have a good bottom to sit on in the water, the fort and the flotilla both work pretty well actually. And yeah, like I said, and you could see from the video, when they're totally dry, it actually works pretty well with both of them. But then once they get wet, they get heavier. So, but yeah, you could put like a foam base or something. That's actually an interesting idea for like a custom ship, like a custom fort or a custom flotilla. You could actually do that as part of the custom, and then have it be like ready for the water to actually sail. Okay, so last but not least, I'm doing a pack. So this is a sealed pack from Ocean's Edge, really cheap, and I'm going to see if this one floats or not. And it looks like it does, which makes sense. It's still sealed, so that's the really good part about it. So this one floats pretty well. Oh, this is a good idea. I'm going to test the little base idea here. I'm going to put the fort on top of the pack here and see if it works. Let's see if it gets too heavy. Nope, it seems to work so far. So yeah, you could do that. You could do that with any of the ships, I guess. Unless they're too heavy, of course. I guess I could just load it up until it sinks. And I'm assuming a pack that's open probably wouldn't work, because then the water would seep in and stuff, but yeah, this works pretty well actually. So the pack weighs more, but then it's still sealed, so it's got that air in it. Yeah, it might actually be hard to sink the pack actually, which is cool. So this is pretty weird actually. So in conclusion, none of the ships really float, but then the stationary objects like the flotillas and the forts, they actually float pretty well, and then the pack does as well. So I'm going to take these off and then see if it even, I'm going to see if it even can sink. It looks like it's just gonna stay up there even though it's like soggy now. I actually have a plan too I'm actually gonna keep this pack underwater somewhere for like days or weeks on end, and then I'm gonna see, I'm gonna like open the pack sometime, maybe after it's dried out, maybe when it's still soggy, and then I'm gonna see what the cards are like inside. So yeah, but that works really well. So the pack is still there, it floats really well, and that's pretty much it. And then another thing I was gonna do, I was gonna put a ship like this. I have like a bunch of duplicates of this ship. I have a lot of copies of it. I was gonna submerge a ship like this too and just leave it in the water for like I said, like a few days or a few weeks. But alright, so this was the video. Do Pirates CSG ships actually float? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.